जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई की जय, सुदर्शन देव की जय, नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय, नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय, प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, गोविंद की जय, भक्त हनुमान श्री गरुड़ देव की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत् अष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter number 7, Text number 32. Gopairmake pratihate vraja viplvaya deve vivarshati pashun krupayari rakshuhu धृत्तोच्चिनिलिन्द्रमिव सप्तदिनानि सप्तवर्षो महीद्रमनघैककरे सलीलम् गोपैर्मखे प्रतिहते व्रजविप्लवाय देवे विवर्षति पशून् कृपयारिरक्षुः दर्तोच्चिलीन्द्रमिव सप्तदिनानि सप्तवर्षो महीद्रम् अनघैककरे सलीलम् गोपैर्मखे प्रतिहते व्रजविप्लवाय देवे विवर्षति पशून् कृपयारिरक्षुः धृत्तोच्चिलीन्द्रमिव सप्तदिनानि सप्तवर्षो महीद्रम् अनघैककरे सलीलम्. Gopai by the cowherd men, Makhe in offering a sacrifice to the king of heaven, Pratihate being hampered with Brajaviplavaya for devastating the whole existence of Vrajabhumi, the land of Krishna's pastimes. Deve by the king of heaven, Abhivarshati having poured down heavy rain, Pashun the animals, Krupaya by causeless mercy upon them, Rirakshuhu desired to protect them, Dartha held up, Uchilindram uprooted as an umbrella, Iva exactly like that, Sapta Dinani continuously for 7 days, Sapta Varshaha although he was only 7 years old, Mahidram the Gordana hill, Anagha without being tired, Eka Kare in one hand only, Salilam playfully. Translation and purport by Istvanges A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When the cowherd men of Vrindavana, under instruction of Krishna, stopped offering sacrifice to the heavenly king Indra, the whole tract of land known as Praja was threatened with being washed away by constant heavy rains for 7 days. Lord Krishna, out of his causeless mercy upon the inhabitants of Praja, held up the hill known as Govardhana with one hand only. Although he was only 7 years old, he did this to protect the animals from the onslaught of water. Purport. Children play with an umbrella generally known as a frog's umbrella, and Lord Krishna, when he was only 7 years old, could snatch the great hill known as the Govardhana Parvata at Vrindavana and hold it for 7 days, continuously with one hand, just to protect the animals and the inhabitants of Vrindavana from the wrath of Indra, the heavenly king, who had been denied sacrificial offerings by the inhabitants of Vrajabhumi. Factually, there is no need of offering sacrifices to the demigods for their services if one is engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord. Sacrifices recommended in the Vedic literatures for satisfaction of the demigods are a sort of inducement to the sacrifices to realize the existence of higher authorities. The demigods are engaged by the Lord as controlling deities of material affairs, and according to the Bhagavad Gita, when a demigod is worshipped, the process is accepted as the indirect method for worshipping the Supreme Lord. But when the Supreme Lord is worshipped directly, there is no need of worshipping the demigods or offering them sacrifices as recommended in particular circumstances. Lord Krishna therefore advised the inhabitants of Vrajabhumi not to offer any sacrifices to the heavenly king Indra, but Indra, not knowing Lord Krishna in Vrajabhumi, was angry at the inhabitants of Vrajabhumi and tried to avenge the offense, but competent as the Lord was, he saved the inhabitants and animals of Brajabhumi by his personal energy and proved definitely that anyone directly engaged as a devotee of the Supreme Lord need not satisfy any other demigods, however great, even to the level of Brahma or Shiva. Thus, this incident definitely proved without a doubt that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and that he was in all circumstances, as a child on the lap of his mother, as a boy 7 years old, and as an old man of 125 years of age. In either case, he was never on the level of the ordinary man, and even in his advanced age, he appeared a young boy 16 years old. These are the particular features of the transcendental body of the Lord. क्रीडं वने निशि निशाकर रश्मि गौर्यं क्रीडान् वने निशि निशाकर रश्मि गौर्याम् अरासोन्मुखा कलपदयतामुचितेन उद्दीप्त स्मरुजं व्रजभृत्वधूनां हर्तुर्हरिष्यति शिरो धनधानुगस्य. Okay, we'll go this. मज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकचक्षुरुन्मिलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. नमः ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिति नामिने. नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषाशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. When the cowherd men of Vrindavana, under the instruction of Krishna, stopped offering sacrifices to the heavenly king Indra, the whole tract of land known as Braja was threatened with being washed away by constant heavy rains for 7 days. Lord Krishna, out of his causeless mercy upon the inhabitants of Braja, held up the hill known as Govardhana with his one hand only, although he was only 7 years old. He did this to protect the animals from the onslaught of water. So here we can see how Lord Krishna protected his devotees. So here, the Indra is punishing the inhabitants of Braja because they stopped the sacrifices which is meant for him under the instruction of Lord Krishna. It was just a mere 7 years old boy. And they had so much faith in Lord Krishna's words that even though a small boy of 7 years old, so they listened to his word and they stopped Lord Indra's, the king of heaven, sacrifice. See how much faith they had in Krishna's protection and Krishna's words. So Lord Indra is in charge of rains. So not only this, especially Brajavasis are farmers, Vaishyas, farming and cow production they used to do, and trading. So the farmers especially they need sufficient rain. So to get sufficient rain, they perform sacrifices. So they directly depend on rains and Lord Indra for getting rain. Here Lord Krishna stopped the sacrifice which is meant for Lord Indra. And because of this, Lord Indra became angry and he wanted to punish the inhabitants of Braja. And so he sent Samvartaka, the devastating cloud, which is called when there is an annihilation. So Lord Samvartaka continuously poured rain on Braja continuously for 7 days and inundated the entire Vrajabhumi. And so Lord Krishna So, as usual, the inhabitants of Vraja, they went and begged Lord Krishna for rescuing them from this inundation. And Lord Krishna, compassionate as he was, protected the Vrajavasis and animals by lifting Govardhana hill with his just one hand, one finger in his hand. Although he was a small boy, only 7 years old, he did this to protect the animals from the onslaught of water. So he protected the animals of Vrajavasis. Children play with an umbrella generally known as frog's umbrella. And during rainy season, and we can see the streets also, lot of umbrella, mushroom kind of things are there. So children, they play with that mushroom. It is also called frog's umbrella. And Lord Krishna, when he was only 7 years old, could snatch the great hill known as Govardhana Parvata at Vrindavana and hold it for 7 days continuous days with one hand, just to protect the animals and inhabitants of Vrindavana from the wrath of Indra, the heavenly king, who had been denied sacrificial offerings by the inhabitants of Vraja. Here, somebody who claims to be a supreme god, somebody who claims to be God, should show his supernatural power. If he can lift Govardhana hill, or if he can lift some hill, so maybe he can show his supernatural power. Now we have so many gods loitering in the street. So many gods are appearing every day, and so if they are supreme god, they are all powerful. Let them lift like this Vrindavana, Govardhana. Let them lift like some hill to protect people from the heavy rain, from the heavy floods. And one more thing here, factually there is no need to offering sacrifices to the demigods for their services if one is engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord. It is just like this. Suppose you are doing some business, you do it nicely, and you pay the tax, and there is no need to separately satisfy the different departments, electricity, water, or any other department which your business is connected. And there is no need separately to satisfy these departmental officers separately. You have to go and give them something. So there is no need. You just pay your income tax or whatever tax you have to pay. You just pay the tax, and the government is satisfied with you. Then there is no need to satisfy the different departmental officers. Nowadays there is a lot of corruption. Somehow they manage to pay some bribe to the officers and get their work done. It is not like this. If you are engaged in the service of Lord Krishna, and there is no need to offer any sacrifices to other demigods, separately how to offer. When you are completely, now who worships demigods? Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Kamaistaistu Hritagnana Prapaddante Annadevata. Those who are bewildered by sense gratification or kama. Kamaistaistir Hritagnana Prapadyante Annadevataha. This comes in Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, 2nd verse. Sorry, 7th chapter, 24th verse. Chapter 20th verse. Yeah. Kamaistair hritagnana prapadyante anyadevata. tam tam niyamam astaya prakrutya niyatasvayaha. Those whose minds are distorted by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. Those who are freed from all material contamination surrender unto Supreme Lord and engage in His devotional service. As long as the material contamination is not completely washed off, they are by nature non-devotees. But even as those who have material desires and who resort to the Supreme Lord are not so much attracted by external nature because of approaching the right goal, they soon become free from all material lust. The Srimad Bhagavatam, it is recommended that whether one is free from all material desires or is full of material desires or desires liberation from all material contamination or is a pure devotee and has no desire for material sense gratification, he should in all cases surrender to Vasudeva and worship him. It is said in the Bhagavatam that less intelligent people who have lost their spiritual sense take shelter of demigods for immediate fulfillment of material desires. Generally, such people do not go to the Supreme Personality of Godhead because they are in particular modes of nature, ignorance and passion, and therefore worship various demigods following the rules and regulations of worship. They are satisfied. The worshippers of demigods are motivated by small desires and do not know how to reach the supreme goal. But a devotee of the Supreme Lord is not misguided, because in Vedic literature there are recommendations for worshipping different demigods for different purposes. Example, a deceased man is recommended to worship the sun. Those who are not devotees of the Lord think that for certain purposes demigods are better than the Supreme Lord. But a pure devotee knows that the Supreme Lord Krishna is the master of all. In Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said that only the Supreme Personality Godhead Krishna is master and all others are servants. Therefore, a pure devotee never goes to demigods for satisfaction of his material needs. It depends on the Supreme Lord, and the pure devotee is satisfied with whatever he gives. So even demigods, they cannot give everything. They have to get approval from higher authorities, that is Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma's higher authority is Lord Krishna. Already everybody who takes birth in this world is already destined particular things. So without our endeavor, even demigods, they cannot give anything. There should be Purushartha. Our endeavor should be there, and our karma also should be there. Our Purva karma, past karma also should be there. Our endeavor in this life should be there. Then, if you approach demigods, they may give. So for that you need to have to do a lot of tapasya also. And there are so many vratas, so many yagnas are there. You have to recite this many mantra, this many thousands of mantra. It is said that you have to recite 18,000 times some mantra to satisfy some planet, some Rahu, Ketu, Mangal, Buddha, Shukra, Shani. To satisfy those demigods, you have to recite the mantra of the particular demigod, particular planetary deity. You have to chant it for 10,000, 11,000, 12,000 times, like that. You have to do a lot of tapasya for satisfying demigods also. And Lord Krishna is very satisfied even you offer with love and devotion a little bit of flowers, fruit, leaves like tulsi leaves, just to offer that, he is satisfied. But demigods, you cannot do like this. You have to offer elaborate methods of sacrifice. Very nicely you should do it. Then they will be satisfied. They are satisfied, then they will give result. So it is just an inducement. Now we'll go back to Bhagavatam. Sacrifices recommended in the Vedic literature for satisfaction of demigods are sort of inducement to the sacrificers to realize the existence of higher authorities. So people are there in different modes. Somebody is in Tamoguna, somebody is in Rajoguna, somebody is in Sattoguna. So different people are in different modes. For those who are situated in particular mode, there is a different kind of sacrifices for them. For those who are situated in the mode of ignorance, there is a animal sacrifice before goddess Kali is recommended. So gradually they will realize that there are higher authorities. Then slowly they will understand that Vishnu is the supreme authority. So these demigods are engaged by the Lord as controlling deities of material affairs. They are like appointed officers in particular departmental ministers, officers. They are like that, the demigods. According to the Bhagavad Gita, when a demigod is worshipped, the process is accepted the indirect method of worship of the Supreme Lord. So demigods also different. You can say demigod also are also like a different bodily limbs of Supreme Lord. So when you are worshipping that bodily limb, you are also indirectly worshipping the Supreme Lord. And it's just like this. Now there is a plant is there, and there is a body of plant, and then branches, twigs, leaves, flowers, fruits. So different categories of plant is there. Now, if you want to satisfy the tree, how you will do? Just pour water into the root of the tree. In that way, the tree will flourish. Instead of that, you just start pouring water on different branches and the body of the tree or fruits or flowers. Just pour water on them. How you can satisfy the tree, entire tree? How you can please the tree? Similarly, if you want to satisfy individually the demigods, it is said that there are 33 crore demigods. If you want to satisfy each and individually for your requirements, in your human life, you need many things. You need sufficient water, pure water for cultivation, for drinking, pure air, sufficient light, fire, minerals, grains, fruits, flowers, jewelry, this gold, minerals. So salt also you require, metals also you require. So we need so many things in this world. So somebody wants to be good in education, somebody wants to be beautiful in appearance, somebody wants some name, fame, somebody wants some land, property, vehicles, somebody wants some high post, somebody wants some beautiful wife, beautiful friends, beautiful children, they want some nice children, and they want to get cured of some diseases, they want to get rid of some enemies, they want to get rid of loans also, somebody wants a long life, somebody wants so many things. They have, there's a lot of desires for living persons in this world. So to satisfy all these desires, they worship different demigods. Suppose somebody wants wealth, they may worship Mahalakshmi or Kuber. Somebody wants property, they may worship Mars, Subramanya, Muruga. Somebody wants children, they worship Guru, the planet Jupiter. Somebody wants beautiful voice, they may worship Bharati, Lord Shiva also. Somebody wants name, fame, they may worship Lord Shiva also. So in this way there are different desires of living entities, and there is different kinds of worship for them. So when the Supreme Lord is worshipped directly, there is no need of worshipping the demigods or offering them sacrifices as recommended in particular circumstances. So throughout your life you have to go on worshipping different demigods, and your entire life is gone. Then they will not take, the demigods also is not interested. If you are not doing your duty, demigods, they cannot give any benefit. So you should do your duty, that is the main thing. Then if you worship the demigods, they will see if you are qualified, if your karma permits, then they may give you. But Supreme Lord Krishna is not like that. He doesn't want you to get entangled in this repeated birth and death, old age, disease. He doesn't want you to get entangled here. So he will not give any material benefits. Of course, he will give all kinds of material benefits, but he doesn't want you to get entangled in this material world, suffering, repeated birth, death, old age, disease. So Lord Krishna therefore advised the inhabitants of Brajabhumi not to offer any sacrifices to heavenly King Indra, because the Brajabasis, they are completely surrendered to Lord Krishna. So those who completely surrendered to Lord Krishna, there is no need of worshipping other demigods. Those who are not completely surrendered, they worship the different demigods because they are impelled by different desires. To fulfill the different desires, as long as you have material desires, you have to entangle in this material world. So these Brajabasis are completely pure devotees. They are completely surrendered to Lord Krishna. So the Lord Krishna advised them, don't worship Lord Indra. No need to offer any sacrifice. But Indra, not knowing Lord Krishna in Brajabhumi, was angry at the inhabitants of Brajabhumi and tried to avenge the offense. But Indra, he was unaware that this is Supreme Lord Vishnu himself has come in playing his pastime as a coward boy. Lord Indra is not knowing Lord Krishna in Brajabhumi, was angry at the inhabitants of Brajabhumi and tried to avenge. But Lord Krishna is competent enough to save his devotees from any evil forces or any demigod. If some demigods become angry, also Lord Krishna can protect. So if Lord Krishna is protecting, who can harm you? So if Lord Krishna is, like there is one incident, it is said that Lord Ravana was a devotee of Lord Shiva. So great devotee of Lord Shiva, Ravana. So when Lord Ramachandra wanted to kill Lord Ravana, Lord Shiva unable to protect him. So if Lord Vishnu has decided to kill somebody, and who can save him? And if Krishna wanted to protect someone, who can kill him? Who can harm him? So here Lord Krishna decided to protect the Brajavasis. So Indra unable to harm them. So by his personal energy and proved definitely that anyone directly engaged with devotee of Supreme Lord need not satisfy any other demigods. So if you are engaged in satisfying the demigod, the Krishna, then there is no separately worshipping demigods. However great, even to the level of Brahma or Shiva, even Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, they are not equal to Lord Vishnu. So those who are saying that Brahma, Lord Shiva equal to Vishnu, they are called Pashandis. So these Mayavadis, mostly they say that Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu are all one, and even the living entities, we are all one. They are called Pashandis, atheists. Thus, this incident definitely proved without a doubt that Lord Krishna is a Supreme Personality Godhead, and that he was so in all circumstances, as a child in the lap of his mother, as a boy, as 7 years old, as an old man of 125 years age. So now there are so many Swamijis, yogis, they say that you do some meditation and then you will become God after sometimes. That is what they say. But here we are seeing that Lord Krishna, he was in the lap of his mother and he killed Putana, and when he was a 7 years old boy, he lifted Govardhana, and when he was 125 years, so still he is a God, whether from lap of mother or 7 years or 125 years. We cannot hear Lord Krishna performing meditation and becoming God. We cannot hear such things. He was God when he was a small boy, and when he was 7 years, and when he was youthhood or when old age. In either case, he was never on the level of ordinary man. And even in his advanced age, he appeared a young boy of 16 years old. These are the particular features of the transcendental body of the Lord. So this is another aspect of Lord Krishna's physical features. And now we see so many gods, so-called gods. They look very old, decayed, decomposed physical features, dirty appearance, because they are suffering from their old age. But here Krishna, it is said Krishna appeared like just a 16 years old boy, even though he was a great grandfather. These are the particular features of the transcendental body of the Lord. So Lord Krishna doesn't have a physical body like us, composed of material element, that is earth, water, ether, air, fire. Lord Krishna doesn't have this body. He has a spiritual body which is unchangeable, existing as it is. So even we have the spiritual body in the spiritual world. Since we are in the material world, we are having this material body. It undergoes changes, comes into being, stays for a while, produces byproducts, dwindles and vanishes. This is made of this earth, water, ether, air, fire. So there is always keeps on changing. This is material body, but spiritual body never changes. It is existing as it is. So we'll stop here. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।